Okay, so we're doing a lot of cooking today. So I've got a lot of requests for this one. My marinara sauce. This goes out to you, Joe Altobello. Anyway, I got some vine ripened tomatoes. These are delicious 100s or something like that. Delicious 1000s, I forget. These are the sweetest, most delicious tomatoes I've ever had. And if you've never made a marinara sauce from fresh vine ripened tomatoes, you got to do it. I mean, you got to do it. You got to do it right now. So here we go. I'm going to take these tomatoes and I'm going to fill this pot. I'm going to blanch these tomatoes in hot water and peel the skins off, and then squeeze out some of the juice. I'll have crushed tomatoes, and in the meantime, I'm going to chop up a white onion, probably half a white onion, clarify it in some olive oil, and then a little bit of sweet basil. Put in the crushed tomatoes, a little red wine, saute it down, and put on some spicy meatballs. I'll be right back as soon as these tomatoes are done. All right, so we're going to take the tomatoes out. If you look, I got a bath here of ice water. So let's see if the tomatoes look like they're cracked, the skins. Yeah, I think they look like, those skins look like they're ready to come off. Okay. All right, back again. The tomatoes were washed and stems pulled off. I put them in a little bit of boiling water, and they are starting to crack. You see the cracks in the tomatoes? So that's good. Let me get these off the stove and get them into some ice cold bath, and I'll peel the skins off. See you in a minute. Welcome back again. So, I took the tomatoes out of the cold water bath and I peeled them. You don't need to see me peel tomatoes, but you just want to take this little stem off here, like that, discard that, cut the tomato into quarters. This is basically how you would can tomatoes. As a matter of fact, this is exactly how you can tomatoes. Canning tomatoes is about as easy as it comes. Just get the little stem off, discard that, cut that into a couple of pieces. And let me tell you a secret. You want to know why your Italian grandmother's marinara sauce is better than everybody else's? It's because in January, when you can't get vine ripened tomatoes like this, what she does is she takes her tomatoes, cans them just like that. You put all these in there, just in your can. And in January, while everybody else is buying those awful store-bought or canned crushed tomatoes, which I'm doing, which I do, I buy canned crushed tomatoes. She's opening up her cans of tomatoes that she canned that were vine ripened, and I'm going to pretend today, like these, that's what I did. That these tomatoes came out of a can. Well, they are going to come out of a jar. I don't want to call it canning when it's actually jarring. But if you do this, and when you get those bumper crop of tomatoes that you're just giving away, you know what? All you got to do is boil off the skins, cut off the stem, cut them up like that, put them in a jar, put a lid, put them in the canner for 40 minutes, and they're done. You just preserve, you don't put anything else in these. Not a thing. And then I'm going to show you how to clarify some onion. No garlic in this marinara sauce, by the way. And a little bit of sweet basil. If you have fresh basil, much better. I let my basil plant die because I had trouble with the irrigation system, and it didn't get watered. But I did happen to dry some out before then. So I'm going to put a little bit of sweet basil, and that's about it. So let me get the onions going. I'll be right back. About 2 tablespoons of olive oil, extra virgin. Mince yourself up this is half of a large white onion, or you know, maybe a whole small one. It depends. This is a pretty big onion. Mincing this guy up pretty good. Okay. This is my marinara pan right here, and well, because it's stainless steel and I'm cooking a tomato sauce, and you don't want to put tomato sauce in some of these other kind of pans that, you know, the acid likes to react with. So let's get a little pink Himalayan salt, plenty of that in there. I got the water going for the pasta. Do you have pasta? Oh no. She's pointing up here. There we go. American Beauty. Pasta going in. We got enough for 2 people? All right. She's nodding her head yes. Fresh, coarse black pepper. This marinara sauce is very garden fresh, so no garlic. Onion, black pepper, salt, the fresh stewed tomatoes, canned tomatoes that we did. We'll put a half a cup of good red wine. Whatever you like drinking, whatever your favorite red wine, if you like to drink it, put it in here. Let's come back in a couple of minutes when these are nice and soft. Then we'll reduce down the red wine. Then we're going to put in these beautifully fresh crushed tomatoes. Sweet basil. I have the dried stuff again. Like I said, I did the fresh stuff. I don't have. If you got fresh, much better. I have some fresh Thai basil, and I picked it, and it smells like something I'd want to put in my bowl of ramen noodles or pho or something like that. And it smells sweet, but I just can't get used to the putting it in my Italian dish. So I'm just going to go with the dried stuff. See you in a minute. Okay, let's add a little wine. Oh, one more note. Take a look at these onions. Make sure that you stir these regularly, because what you don't want to do is what I've already almost done, which I haven't, but you don't want to toast them, but you want these onions to be really soft. So let's add in about, half a cup of wine, or a cup of wine.
That's way more
That's
than
a cup.
enough.
If you want it, you can use a measuring cup, something like that.
Don't put any more in there.
That would probably be better.
Oh my God.
And I told her that we should have measured it, but she said just pour it in. It looks better for the effect. So
Apparently I was wrong, because oh my
you're
God.
wrong again.
Look at all of that wine.
which is
But that's fine with me.
so you know what I say? Too much wine is not enough. So let's get a little bit of this sweet basil. You know what? When I first pulled this out of the jar, it smelled a little grassy, but now it smells delicious. Take a couple of these little stems out. So put in a little sweet basil, maybe one more onion. Fresh is better, like I said. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to reduce this wine down to where it's you know, fairly thick. Then we'll add in the tomatoes and stew those down. And that is marinara sauce. Onions, salt, pepper, sweet basil fresh if you got it, cup to 3 cups of red wine. Delicious. Stew that down. Couldn't be simpler. And open up a can of your fresh canned tomatoes that you got out of the garden. Go to the farmer's market. When the tomatoes come in the season, man, those people are up to their eyeballs in tomatoes. You can probably get them cheap. You know I'm up to eyeballs in tomatoes. Plants went crazy this year because of all the rain. See you in just a minute. I wish you guys could smell this. Come over here. The red wine is reduced down. Oh my gosh, the smell is so good. I can smell just a hint of that sweet basil. That red wine smells so good. I'm going to add in the tomatoes that we canned. Just put those in there. I didn't even drain off the juice. That's just more tomato goodness. All right, let's let this simmer, thicken, and then I'll be right back. Pull the pasta off and we're gonna eat like kings. All right, man, I wish this had smell-o-vision. You guys gotta come over here and smell this again. Oh my God, look at this marinara sauce. You know, this is just garden fresh. You know, it still has the seeds in it. I didn't drain out the seeds or the juice. This is a marinara sauce. It's not a spaghetti sauce. A spaghetti sauce, you squeeze out the juice, squeeze out the seeds, and you stew it down into a tomato sauce, and you use oregano, garlic powder, garlic, basil, a lot more spices. Only spice in the marinara sauce: onions, salt, pepper, a little bit of sweet basil. There's a heart left in there. Okay, I got 4 meatballs. Half lamb, half ground beef. Lamb is in courtesy of Joe Altabella. I don't know if you guys heard that pop, but that was one of my applesauce cans back there. Sorry about that. So, 2 meatballs apiece. Meatballs, I think I did a video on the meatballs, but the meatballs are 1 pound of ground beef, 1 pound of lamb, courtesy of Altabello's Meats, and I saute some fennel in some butter, Italian breadcrumbs, again salt, pepper, some red cayenne pepper. These are spicy meatballs. And there you go. Marinara sauce. Let me pull the pasta out because it's done. Okay. Turn that down. The meatballs are already pre-cooked. I cook them, then I freeze them. Rinse in a little cold water so that the noodles don't stick together. Little trick that I think my mother-in-law showed me. It works. All right. That's hot. Okay, so now we got a choice. Do we plate it with the noodles and just put the sauce on top, or mix it all together? So let's let this
I would say plate it
individually.
individually.
Okay, we'll let
Definitely have to cook those meatballs more.
Well, the meatballs I've warmed up in the microwave, so they're not raw.
Oh, okay.
They are cooked.
Because I don't like my meatballs frozen.
She likes frozen burritos, by the way. She buys them all the time. I said, why you buy frozen burritos? Why don't I get a warm burrito. These frozen burritos is just hard on your teeth. See you in a minute. Let me plate this up. Okay, most important thing I forgot to do taste your marinara sauce. See if it needs salt. I know this is going to be plenty sweet because these tomatoes are ridiculously sweet. Perfect. That doesn't need any salt at all. If you like your food salty, get a little salt. So let's plate this up. Generous portion. I see where they turn it. I don't know what that does. Marinara sauce. Marinara sauce. Meatball. Oh, there we go. What do you think, folks? Is that legit?
Beautiful.
Let me know if that's a legit marinara sauce, if I did it right or if I did it wrong. I'd appreciate the feedback. If your Italian grandmother did it differently, I'd be interested to know. Thank you, guys. Bon appetit. Drink well.